This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. Last February, Girl Scout Troop 149 in St. Louis County sold friendship bracelets to raise money for the humanitarian nonprofit Palestine Children's Relief Fund. Days after their fundraiser began, Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri requested they stop the effort or face legal action. Frustrated with the tone and tenor of the Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri's request, the group decided to break away from Girl Scouts. But members of the troop weren't about to say goodbye to one another. They wanted to continue building leadership skills and friendships within a group context that encouraged the Scouts to be a voice for those who face oppression. With me now to discuss what happened next are troop co-leaders Nawal Abuhamdeh and Fazila Bobat. Nawal and Fazila, welcome back to St. Louis on the Air.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the Girl Scout Troop 149, there were 8 girls initially. So you were thinking of starting small, right?
Oh, yeah. So after we disbanded in February, and of course we didn't know what the next plan was, we just knew that we perhaps were going to continue meeting, just us 8 girls continuing what we were doing. Perhaps not under an organization, but under perhaps the 149 girls, as they started to call themselves. Mm-hmm. But the support that we received, not only nationwide, but worldwide, of not only support of messages and postcards in the mail and gifts in the mail, mm-hmm. Of cute magnets or, homemade stickers, but monetary donations, as well as donating to the bracelet fundraiser, which at the end of it raised over $26,000 for Gaza. So as you can imagine, with this large amount of donations and this trust that I needed to give these donations to these organizations, it only made sense at the time. Now I think of it as a little impulsive, but at the time it only made sense to just start an organization, a nonprofit that I could send these donations to. And, whatever the case would have been, if it was just one troop or if we added a couple more troops, we were thinking of starting local. So I remember it was the first day of Ramadan. It was in March. And I started the organization and called it Salam Scouts. Mm-hmm. And since then, from March till I believe July, we were taking it slow. We didn't have huge expectations. We wanted to make sure that whatever we did was purposeful and true to our mission. So we did set up the structure, the strategic goals, the vision. And in late July, I remember calling Fazila and telling her that I received a call from former Girl Scout troops in California and in Texas saying, well, what now? We followed you guys. We signed that petition. There was a petition out saying not another cookie. We were not going to sell another cookie unless there was a formal apology and a statement about Gaza from the Girl Scouts. And they swore they won't go back to Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm. So they said, we heard through the grapevine there's a Salam Scouts and we want to join you. And that's how we became a national organization overnight. Right.
So after going through what you did with Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri, and I want to put a finer point on that because there are regional councils that sort of handle whatever is happening in different parts of the country. When they had communicated with you, was there afterward, because there was this response nationally and internationally, was there ever an apology?
No. Honestly, no.
And so how did it feel then to hear messages from other people? And what were the kinds of things that folks were sharing with you?
Well, they were sharing that they were proud of us for going against the status quo, that we were standing up for justice regardless if it was the popular thing to do. they were proud of our girls for understanding at a humanitarian level what the right thing to do is. And that they themselves said it was very simple. We wanted to make the world a better place, and that's what we're doing. So a lot of those messages were that. They were also messages of people, many of the messages were from people that were non-Muslims or non-Palestinians or non-Arab, and they were saying, we're not as strong yet to make those public statements, but hearing your girls do it are making us stronger to do that. And so those were just all enlightening messages that we were receiving.
Well, and given that the name of the project you are working on, it's a formal Girl Scouts of America journey. It's called Agents of Change. So this seems very apropos. Now, this would not be a proper discussion without Salam Scouts themselves or members of the former Troop 149. So I'd like to introduce two other very important voices to this conversation. So also with us today is Nawal's daughter and Salam Scout Maria Abdulbaset. Maria, welcome back.
Thank you.
And we also have fellow Salam Scout and Troop 149 member, Maria Salam. Maria, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
So you've heard everything that your mother and the co-leader of Troop 149 are talking about. Now, before Salam Scouts was founded, each of you was part of Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri for at least 5 years, right? That's a long time to continue doing something, especially when you're a kid. What is it that you enjoyed most about Girl Scouts specifically? Maria S.
I really liked selling cookies, of course. I liked how often we socialized and did stuff for the community.
Yeah. Tell me about the cookie part. You liked selling cookies?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, they're good. It's fun.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
They saw the fun part of it. We saw
the hard
Oh my gosh.
part of it.
Yes. No, that's why I asked. I have a Cub Scout at home and our thing is popcorn. So Maria A., how about you? What did you enjoy about being part of Girl Scouts?
I do agree with Maria S. It was very tasty and fun to do. And it wasn't as work as the bracelets, but it was still pretty hard for the mothers, of course.
Yeah.
But it's very similar to Salam Scouts right now because we do similar things. I mean, we sold bracelets, which was just like selling cookies, and it's just very similar. We still socialize. It's just the only thing that's different is we have more members in Salam Scouts.
Yeah. What was it, Maria S., that made you want to be a Girl Scout to begin with?
So I was in second grade, and I like to be around people a lot and talk to people. So when I saw that they were starting a Girl Scouts troop at my school, I went over and I was like, I want to do it. And yeah.
And did you like it immediately?
Yeah, it was really fun.
And how did you get into it, Maria A.?
My mom was the troop leader, so she kind of pushed me into it because she was the troop leader.
It wasn't much of a choice.
I actually remember this text messages when my daughter was in kindergarten. She had sent a few group of friends saying that, hey, I'm starting a troop. Would you like your daughters to join? And I'm actually not from here, so I wasn't aware of what Girl Scout is. And, I'm from England.
Okay.
And prior to that, my childhood was spent in Zambia in Africa. So I had no idea. And then I had to look it up before I made a decision for her.
Sure.
What is Scouts? And then I was like, oh, this looks really fun. And I think because my daughter, she's quiet, but she likes to socialize. And I thought she would have a really good time. Yeah. And she did. When I did join her in her troop at that time, in kindergarten. And they did, from then to now, they had a lot of experiences. Even in Salam Scouts, we still do a lot of things. We have already done so much, in activity-wise. We like just recently, they all went to a project downtown, and they they made meals for the homeless, which was great for all of them to the teamwork and developing people skills, and so I really like it. And I'm just so glad that we founded an organization that stays true to our principles.
Yeah. We need to take a quick break, but we'll be back shortly to continue this conversation about Salam Scouts, a national independent scouting organization that started in St. Louis County just last year. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio. Welcome back. Let's return to our conversation about Salam Scouts, an independent scouting organization that got its start in St. Louis County last year. It was formed by the leaders and scouts of Girl Scout Troop 149, which disbanded after Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri told the troop it needed to stop its Agent of Change project that centered on making and selling bracelets to support humanitarian aid for children impacted by war in Gaza. And we're talking today with 4 guests. Nawal Abuhamdeh is co-founder of Salam Scouts along with Fazila Bobat, and each of them were also leaders of Troop 149. Rounding out our foursome are Maria Abdelbaset and Maria Salam, who are St. Louis-based Salam Scouts. Before the break, you were talking, Fazila, about one of the activities that Salam Scouts has done. And the experience for each of you, Maria S. and Maria A., there have been some other things that you have done as Salam Scouts that I understand have been quite powerful and meaningful. I heard that there was a meeting with a toddler who came to St. Louis for medical treatment. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Maria A.?
So we all got together and saw a little girl from Gaza who lost her 2 legs and tragically, and we got to go see her. We had a little meeting with her, and it was really fun. Honestly, she's such a cute girl, and she's just amazing. She only spoke Arabic, but that was okay. And she was so kind, and it was really fun. We also had a little talk with Lena.
And who is that?
What's her name?
She's a community leader that spoke to them about the importance of doing good in our communities.
Okay.
And
And this is a local community member?
Yes, a local community member named Lena Warad,
Okay.
who spoke to the girls about the Islamic message of helping one another and the impact that we could do when we bring our power together. Okay. So we talked to them about even one small act of kindness could lead to something much larger, which is what they did last year. And so, not to chime in, but it was a full circle moment for us. Just 1 year before that, the girls decided that they would not participate in cookie season because they didn't feel comfortable doing so. When children like Rahaf, the Gaza 3-year-old that we met, were starving and being bombed and tragically hurt and killed. And so for them to sit there in the same circle with Rahaf, who tragically lost both her legs to a bombing, and for them to sit near her, next to her, and understand that that's what they were raising money for and that's who they were fighting for. Mm-hmm. It just felt like a beautiful moment for the girls.
Yeah. Maria, I imagine you have at least one of those bracelets that you all made.
Yeah, I do.
So when you look at that, do you now make a connection with that meeting with Rahaf? And where did that meeting happen? What did it feel like to be in there?
It actually felt really good to know that the the bracelets that we made, the money that we got from them, went to like a good organization and helped a good amount of people get better.
Yeah. Was it at all hard to imagine what kids were going through before you met Rahav? Maria, yeah. Tell me about that.
When I used to cry a lot whenever I saw those videos because they're really sad, and like it's just really sad to see that there's kids like my age right now like dying and like starving to death. And when we started making those bracelets, like I was really happy. And when I also saw Rahav, it made me really, really sad to see that like someone my little sister's age who lost her 2 legs can be that innocent, and she tragically got bombed and lost her 2 legs. And whenever I see her like sad because my little sister runs around and jumps around, it's just sad that she can't do that type of stuff. And when we were like around the circle while Nina was talking, she was like just asking for chips the whole time, and it was so like cute and funny.
Yeah. She's just like everybody else. Fazila and Nawal, how has Salam Scouts affected the parents who've been involved?
Well, for one thing, the parents from last year, as well as my girls from last year, feel a sense of pride and gratitude. I could see that they are more excited about the activities that we're doing, and they feel ownership of Salam Scouts. It's something that they feel like they started, which I remind them all the time. You know, this is what you started. Isn't it amazing, the things that you've done? And they whisper, yes, it is, you know. And then for the parents that we have prospective parents, because we have a wait list, but also our current parents, they tell us all the time that they love it and that they are excited that we started something like this, and they were waiting for something like this for their youth. You know, we noticed that there was a gap, and we didn't realize how large that gap was until we did launch Salam Scouts. And now we're getting inquiries all over the country asking to start Salam Scouts in their areas, which tells us how much this is needed in our communities.
Yeah, I feel like one of our values of Salam Scouts is accountability. So that for our parents is a game changer, because accountability in our faith, our religion, is so important, because we're accountable for this life and how we help and what we do. We believe in the afterlife, so we'll be questioned about it, and we'll be questioned about what you did to help people who are suffering. It's such a big thing in our religion to, helping orphans, helping the needy. Charity is such a big reward in our religion. So accountability, I think the parents, that's had a huge impact on our parents, I feel.
So they really appreciate that part of it. And to get specific about the numbers, there are now more than 100 Salam Scouts in the 11 St. Louis area troops. And these troops are all full. And there are people still waiting.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. I had a parent call me the other day. She set a meeting with me, and her daughter is on a wait list. And I had the meeting with her, and she was she just wanted me to know how badly her daughter needs to be in an organization like Salam Scouts, which is different than any other organization that she feels like her daughter can be in. And when I had that conversation with her, I realized it was because she wanted to be herself, and she wanted to be unapologetically a Muslim girl, 12-year-old girl, and feel like the other girls around her, the other kids around her, understood how she feels and what she's going through. And that to us is I think a lot of the parents feel the same way.
Maria S. and Maria A., in your group, are all of the members, are they all Muslim?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are?
Definitely.
Yeah.
When you talk about Salam Scouts with friends at school or in other places, what kinds of questions do they have for you? Maria A? Uh-huh.
So I've talked to, like, there's something in my school called Renaissance, and it's where you volunteer and like do good things, and then you can get a signature from the person that helped you volunteer for that and do community service. And in Salam Scouts, we did do like 4 hours of community service
Or more.
or more. And I had that signed by my mom because she's the Salam Scouts like leader for my troop. So I had to tell the office in my school because they had questions why my mother was signing my papers.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And they had a lot of questions like what is this organization, like what is it for, what's the causes, and like I didn't really know how to explain it a lot to them, but I just like said it in the easiest way possible.
I think what I was talking to them a little bit about, sorry to...
Oh, no, of course.
They don't feel like there's much of a difference in their lives since starting Salam Scouts. And I don't think they realize the impact that they've made in the world, with launching Salam Scouts and them being spearheaders. To them, it was just a no-brainer to begin an organization that was something that they didn't have to mold themselves in. It could be an organization that they fit in so nicely in their values and what they stand for and their social responsibilities, not only as Muslims, but just as human beings. And so it's just so innocent for them to realize that they don't see the impact, basically.
Yeah. Well, and I think from your perspective as someone who grew up here, Nawal, were you a Girl Scout when you were growing up? Did it feel like it was something for you, and not just for you, because family involvement is absolutely necessary if you're going to do Scouts or, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. So as far as what you knew and what you experienced, was Salam Scouts even something that you would have imagined as a child?
I hear this from a lot of other people. I wish there was a Salam Scouts growing up. I think it would have changed the person I am. But, you never know. However, as a first-generation American, and I think a lot of first-generation Americans could say the same thing, their parents, my parents in particular, didn't know how to navigate as Americans, but also as Muslims and as Palestinians in this country. I was always told by my father, always remember you're a Palestinian, never forget your identity, but never forget you're also American, so never let them tell you you're not. And so I was very confused. And just my parents particularly didn't allow me to join other organizations because they didn't understand it, and so it was something that scared them, and then I was always told to keep my head low. Keep your head low. Don't speak too loudly. Don't too much. And that was by my parents. And so hearing it from my teachers or my professors or my friends in school, telling me that I wasn't allowed to utter the word Palestine or say that I was a Palestinian because it was threatening. It was honestly an identity crisis. And so Salam Scouts would have been amazing and part of my growth and my journey, and to give me that confidence and empowerment that I needed to become a leader. And that's what we're hoping for in these girls and these kids, boys and girls, is that it will empower them into being not only confident leaders, but compassionate, kind leaders who will always stand up for what's right, despite what other people are telling them to think or say.
Maria A., as you hear your mom talk, are you proud of her?
Right now, yes.
Yeah. What makes you proud of her?
She's doing a lot. She owns a lot of organizations and not like in businesses. She's doing a lot, especially that she has 4 kids, 3 cats, and has to deal with so much more. So I think that this is inspiring because she's doing so much and still staying strong and still showing happiness on her face and in her. And she doesn't get upset easily. She's just a kind woman.
Wow.
How does it make you feel to hear that?
Thank you, Maddie. Yeah, that's so cute.
This is, there's been such interest and growth in a very short period of time. What do you think accounts for that? Fazila, from your point of view, why has this taken off so quickly?
I feel like a lot of parents just needed a push, just something that would benefit them and their children, and that aligns with our Islamic principles. I think that especially in the day and age we're in, it has become very difficult for us as living in America. So I think for for everyone and for parents to have an organization where the kids will be surrounded by like-minded and who share like these Islamic principles. I think that will have a very it has a big impact on everyone. So, and I feel like that's why it took off as it did.
The biggest one I've been thinking about with the biggest difference, or there's a lot of differences, but I don't feel that constrained to fundraise. And charity in our religion is one of our pillars.
Yes,
it's one of the most important things. And so everything that we do, regardless if us as a Salam Scout organization tell our troops or not, we're fundraising for other organizations and helping other communities worldwide. And so that was the biggest thing for us that feels much more easy and free. We
want to teach our kids that too. That it's not just about you. It's not just me. We have to look out for each other, look out for family, look out for friends, look out for the world, do what's right. Not because whatever we see in the news is a complete opposite. There is no justice. Even in America itself, we say we protect the children in school, social services, but what about the children worldwide? They don't care. Why? What's the difference?
Yeah. As we close, one of the things I didn't ask about is a very basic question, which is the name of this organization, Salam.
It basically means peace.
And why is it that you chose Peace Scouts as the name for this new organization, Nawal?
It was one of my impulse decisions.
Yeah.
It just felt right. It felt real when we were thinking of names. I said, well, let's see if Salam Scouts is available. And we all agreed. There was not much thought. Salam is a very important word in our word.
It just fits right
in our religion. Yeah,
peace for everyone.
Yeah, when we greet each other, we say Assalamu alaikum.
Peace be
upon you. When we leave each other, we say peace. It's in all that we do. So it was a very easy. That was one of the most easy decisions, was choosing a name.
Sure. Well, salam, if I may say, to each of you, and thank you for being on the show. Nawal Abuhamdeh and Fazila Bobat are the co-founders of Salam Scouts, and Maria A. and Maria S., thank you also for joining us, Scouts yourselves.
Thank you.
Today's episode was produced and edited by Emily Woodbury.
Audio engineering and podcast design by Aaron Dorr.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations. And leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thanks.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
The Gateway brings you the day's news each weekday from around the St. Louis region and the state capitals in Jefferson City.
Our schools are accredited. We don't need this bill.
And Springfield.
How many more years must pass before lawmakers see time is of the essence?
I'm Abby Larico. Join me each weekday for The Gateway on the STLPR app or wherever you get podcasts.